Hi guys, it's Coach Ali. I'm in the studio with Steph and we're going to show you how to blow up those biceps. Let's do this. Alright guys, so the first thing we want to do is start with a compound exercise. So you can see I've gone with a chin up grip lat pull down. So what this is going to do is this is going to really emphasize my biceps and take a little bit of the pressure away from the lats. Now, this is a really good transition exercise. So if you're training aesthetics and you're doing your lats and biceps together, then it's a great gateway exercise to go from your lats to your biceps. If you're training as part of biceps day only, then it's a great way of starting your training session, because what you want to do is you want to start with a good compound exercise and make sure that you're getting the blood rushing through the muscles into that area as much as possible. And so the chin up grip or close grip lat pull down is an excellent start. Now, if you don't have a high pulley at your disposal, then you can always do this with your body weight only. Now, the way to do that is to simply do some chin ups. It's essentially the same exercise, but rather than your bar coming down to you, you're just pulling yourself up all the way. Again, a fantastic exercise as a gateway between lats and biceps, but also a really good exercise to start your biceps training with. Now, if you can't do chin-ups, then you can do the assisted version. So you can see Steph demonstrating that for us. She's got her feet on the ground and she's got her hips nice and square, and then she's basically pulling up, getting a little bit of assistance from her legs to offset some of the body weight. So this is a really good way of practicing your chin-ups if you can't do them naturally. One thing to note is that she's got her hands relatively close together and her elbows are underneath it. So you can see we're not pulling too far out with the elbows. Again, just trying to emphasize the biceps. Okay, so we did our compound exercise. Now what we want to try and do is hit the two heads of the biceps. So we're going to start with the medial head, or the inside of the biceps if you like. And one of the best ways of doing that is to hit some preacher curls. Now, you can do that seated, standing. The main thing is to make sure that your palm is facing you, okay? If we go into a hammer grip, it's gonna hit the lateral head or the brachii head if you like. We wanna try and stick with the medial side for now, really working the inside of those biceps. Now, if you don't have a preacher bench, then an alternative would be to simply stand up, use your opposite arm as a preacher, and essentially work the same movement. So really what you're doing is you're pressing your elbow into your wrist, into that little nook, as opposed to using a preacher bench. Now, if you don't like doing standing preachers, or if you want an alternative, then you can always go into concentration curls. You can see Steph demonstrating. So the main thing to remember with this one, your elbow or the back of your triceps is pushing into your thigh. It is not sitting on your thigh, okay? That's simply gonna restrict your movement and it's not gonna help you at all. So we don't wanna do it that way. You're essentially using your thigh as support, the same way that you would use a preacher bench or you would use your arms in the other two examples. And you're essentially pushing against it rather than sitting on top of it. So let's make sure we get that right. Again, supinated hand grip, because you want to make sure that we're hitting the inside of those biceps as much as possible and get that nice pump in the biceps. Now, we've done our compound exercise. We've also done the medial side of the biceps. Now we want to get to the biceps brachii, or the lateral side if you like, with the outside of the arm. So what we'll do is we'll start off with some hammer curls. Very important to keep your elbows nice and still, and you can see I'm trying to keep my arms parallel, so I'm not allowing my hands to squeeze in. I'm just keeping them apart as I'm doing those cable hammer curls. Keeping the hands neutral is going to be important for making sure we're hitting outside of those biceps. Where people tend to go wrong with this one is they get a lot of swing in the arms and they build up momentum. So we're going to try not to do that. So we're going to try to keep those elbows as still as possible and make sure you're doing your reps with steady pace, okay? Especially on the negative side. So you want to make sure that we're pulling up nice and steady, and then also releasing steady as well. We don't want to release too fast, because don't forget, the harder you drop it, the harder you've got to hit the brakes at the end as well. Otherwise, we're going to compromise our elbows. So we want to make sure that we're not doing that. Now, again, not everybody has low pulley cables at their disposal. So we can do the same thing with your dumbbells as well. So again, just keeping the arms nice and parallel, making sure the elbows are tucked in by your ribs, and working the same range of movement with nice steady pace. Now, if you want to step things up a little bit, what we can do is we can hold one side isometric and work isotonic reps on the other side. So both sides are working, so it's not like an isolateral exercise where you're only training one side. We're actually still training both sides, but one side is holding tight, holding still. That's actually harder than the repetition side. So you're gonna feel more burn, but it's just gonna amp things up for you as far as your biceps training is concerned. So hit one side, and then switch it up and do the other side as well. Again, making sure we're keeping those elbows nice and still. All right, well, that's what I've got for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots more tuitions like this coming up, just showing you guys different ways and different variations of doing exercise. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch up with you guys soon.